This.
Okay. So I hit the button. I don't know if it's actually done it on the YouTube yet or not.
I'm watching.
I'm waiting.
Mm-hmm.
It always takes so long for it to go through on the other side.
I know.
Oh, there it is.
No, mine's not yet. Hey, everyone. Waiting for mine. There we go. There we go.
How are you all? Are you all excited? I'm so excited. I feel like I say that every time we have a live show. Are you excited to be here? I am.
Welcome to Taboo Book Club. We're so excited. Yep, just hey. These were some crazy ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be fair. Sorted. Hey, Patty. Not as crazy as Whisper in the Dark. So I will say, like,
fair.
This is like normal level of crazy for me. Hey, Jenny. But there's some pretty delicious people in these. I almost have all of Nikki Sloan's books now. I'm so happy because one of my subscribers sent me all of the Filthy Rich Americans.
I think was the first book in that. Is that the one that is trying to? Is that the one? The Initiation, is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Izzy keeps trying to make me read that one.
You will love it, so you definitely should.
She said like, the thing that should make me read is there's an age gap for the fourth book.
There is, which is about something else. But that like element is like in the first trilogy because the dad sets up the arranged marriage, but he really wants to fuck the girl. Like that was his plan. Is he was like, "Oh, you're gonna marry my son, and then I can have you." And she's like, no, like I'm gonna be with my husband and not you." So he's chasing after them for a long time. So, and then the fourth book is called The Redemption, and that's he gets redeemed, quote unquote redeemed. What's that? Wow, there's something here. Heather.
Fair.
I mean, Desperate Measures was $0 for the last this week is the last week it's free. Hey, Crystal.
Oh, are you meaning $6 for Sorted? And because that's the it's a duet for the $6.
Oh.
I bought it this morning.
Crystal. I know Crystal didn't read Sorted. You read Desperate Measures, right? The first Blindfold series is free. Yes. Yep. Nikki's books usually are not on KU. They're usually she'll have them free or I'm part of the the press for the third book in the Neighbors, and that one's gonna be a menage that starts out as a like cuckold situation. And I was like, what? Nikki Sloan, why you do this to me? So excited. Yeah, just Desperate Measures. That's cool. That's cool. Bex, we're always the wrong time for you. I try.
Where are you at, Bex?
I think she's in Germany or Sweden. Germany? Am I right? I always forget, but she'll tell us. I wonder if Stella's on here. She doesn't. Sorry, we're just hanging out, but you're probably all here now. Welcome to the Taboo Book Club for Denmark. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm the worst. But Tamika, what were our books this month?
Desperate Measures by Katie Robert, and then Sorted by Nikki Sloan.
And what kind of book was this?
I feel like I'm like in like class, and
you are. I'm teaching you things.
So we did consensual non-consent and dubious consent.
Yeah,
I love both of these so much.
And some non-consent, which is
actual non-consent.
But we'll get to that. Let's I don't have my list of questions up, but let's just kind of talk about this because this like consensual non-consent, I made a video about it because that's one that all the time when it gets mentioned, nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
What's CNC and like DubCon? What does that mean? And I mean, to be fair, like 5 years ago, I probably didn't know what that meant either. But I think a lot of people, they hear that and they don't know how it can be sexy. because they're immediately like, oh no, that can't be, that must be miscommunication or this or that. And I mean, we definitely like picked one on each side of the spectrum. Like I purposely wanted us to do that, just like I tried to do last month, only that book let me down. Forbidden let me down really hardcore. That was my fault. But I mean, Desperate Measures is very much on the consent side of it.
Yeah.
Whereas Sorted is dubious consent at best, leading into non-consensual situations, which then becomes consensual non-consent later. But this one is just kind of like fun, right? Like I think we'd all agree that there isn't this book seems so dark to me the first time I read it. I'd never read a Katie Robert before, and I didn't know. Well, that's not true because I read the Thelanian Dynasty books first, the threesome books or whatever. Right. And I think the thing with that, Heather, is promote is the thing where I wouldn't say that I like promote them, more as people are always asking me for recommendations. So it's like, okay, I'm going to give you my dark and twisted recommendations. So then don't come at me and say that I'm dark and twisted when people ask for them. But this one I think is, of the two, is definitely the more like fun one because both of these people want this to be happening to them.
Yeah.
Would we agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as like why this taboo is taboo, I think it's pretty obvious. This is one that I wouldn't argue with anyone saying that it is a taboo.
Yeah.
This is definitely a taboo, especially when it's a situation that can be, if it isn't a situation where you have full consent and things slide into a situation like the beginning of this, I feel like is a relatable situation. I don't know. That's how I feel, because it does just start out as kind of like two college kids going a little bit too far, and then someone is communicating something that the other person isn't listening to.
Yeah.
And that's when a non-consensual situation happens. Whereas Desperate Measures, the characters have they have a safe word in place and they have a pre-setup, and then it's just like, go for it. If you don't hear my safe word, no doesn't mean no. And I think that's a hard thing for some people, because they get afraid that in real life someone won't
Listen to the safe word.
Yes. Which I'm like, well, number one, do you have a safe word set up? Because I've listened somewhere, I don't know who I was listening to talk about this, but it was probably on Kink Talk. I think it was on TikTok that I saw someone say this, that a lot of couples who aren't even into BDSM should maybe talk about having like definite like no words if they're, just something that you always have set up. I don't know. And I really liked that, because it isn't just things that involve kink that maybe you want to be checking in with people to make sure things are good all the time. I don't know. I think we can learn a lot from the kinking community for our sexual experiences.
I would also say that, with consensual non-consent, people don't get it and they don't want to participate in it, or they don't understand why anyone would want to. But like, you shouldn't be participating in consensual non-consent with someone you don't have a very deep level of trust with.
Right.
So it's not like a kink that you just do with someone off like Tinder or something.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, it's got to be, I don't know. Let's see what some people like think it. So let's just ask, what do people think of Desperate Measures, since we're kind of starting with Desperate Measures? I will say that of the Wicked Villain series, this is probably the least developed of them, just because she did write this one as a whim. If you read the the dedication to this came off of like a prompt, basically, by Jenny Norbeck and someone else from the Wicked Wallflowers, that when the Aladdin movie was being made, they thought that Jafar deserved a happy ending. And so that's where this book came from. And so some people even call this one a novella. I personally think a lot of Katie's books are novella length, and it is an unendingly frustrating thing to me because she creates such amazing characters and then just like cuts it off before it gets interesting to me. What did Heather say? In real life, communication and signals, etc., can be misinterpreted so easily that readers often are worried about real life situations. But in a book, you can really see inner dialogues. Yes. 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 And that's what I mean, Patty. I really think that, and I feel that way about every book in this series, even though I give most of them 5 stars. Like out of the 6 books, I gave 4 of them 5 stars. I feel like she sets up such complex relationships, and then it's like sex, 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 lots of sex in the sex dungeon, and then we're going to be happy forever. Done. And I'm like, okay, that was cool. But you just set up this amazing relationship, and then she'll throw in random danger. Like there's random danger from Ali that like doesn't fully come to fruition, and then it's just over. So upon a reread, I would probably give this one like a 3.5 star instead of, I had it like a 4.5 star. And it has nothing to do with not liking the kink that's shown or the fun of it, but it's just like there wasn't any substance to this book upon like reflecting on it. So ENC, I think it's a safe fantasy rough sex and would appeal to many people. Obviously, trust being the biggest issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like I said, personally, I don't think you should be doing CNC with someone you don't really trust.
No.
You especially if you are the person who is being in the submissive in that situation, you have no control after that.
Right.
So.
Right. And if you haven't set those things up ahead of time and you don't have someone who's going to like listen to you don't know how they'll react to the signals. You don't know what you could be getting yourself into, especially for a woman. Like some of my favorite books, and that's the thing is like I really struggled to pick a book for this taboo because I've read a lot of them and I love a lot of them. But when you told me what your pick was, I knew that I wanted to pick one that was on the other end of it. So I wanted to pick the dubious consent and like the non-consent, whereas this one does have very clear, like the safe word is asked for multiple times. One of my favorite, and I mean, I did this in my video, is asking for it, where the man is very clear about the risk that he's putting himself in by them being a new relationship. If he's like, if I do something you don't like or this goes wrong, like I could go to prison as a rapist and you could ruin my reputation. And I like in that book where you get to see both sides of it, that because that one is set in more of a realistic setting. Both of these are very highly fantastical just for their whatever. But in asking for it, it's set up of like, you know, this is a real couple who, number one, has struggled a long time to find someone that they could try this with.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very clear about like, you can do whatever you want to me, but these are our rules that we have for each other. That like, if something goes down, that you won't act embarrassed and then blame me for assaulting you because everyone would believe you. So anyway, I want to see more of the relationship. Yes. Yeah. Jasmine and Jafar are like, I feel like since they were the first couple, they have the least stuff about them. And if you're a Patreon of hers, which I don't think you'd have to be a Patreon of someone to get the full story of a character. So I know that I agree with that on that side of it. But as a Patreon of her, I've got to read a lot of different like behind the scenes stuff of Jasmine and Jafar. And I was like, man, I wish you wrote sequels to every one of these books because the world that she created is really fascinating. But what were our like favorite naughty scenes in this one? Let's ask the good questions.
The first one.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah. I know that I like was really clear with everyone that this was consensual, but did anyone, if you hadn't seen that, did you pick up that this was consensual? Because I told everyone ahead, I was like, the first time I read this book, I didn't know it was consensual because I missed the hints where she says like, we've talked about this before or like whatever.
And also, the way that Kindle like, when you open your Kindle, it goes right past the warning saying that it's consensual non-consent.
Mm,
So and I know I talked to Laura about it because I know she read it and she read it before, but she didn't like it.
mhm, right.
Um, because she opened the book and it went right past the warning that it was consensual non-consent.
Shame on Kindle.
So,
Katie's so good about putting warnings in her books too. So that's really
it's really I saw that and I got really upset for Laura because 'cause I'm like, "You walked in this and had no clue what was going on."
right.
Like, you
Right.
thought this whole time, like,
There's
it was not
Stella. Hey, Stella. Yeah. So, I mean, I think I like the like naughty schoolgirl one is probably my favorite because it's like a mixture of like his and her fantasy in that one where yeah, I just like that. I love stuff at Hades Club too.
I also love the one at the
With
club
with
where, like, when the everyone can see them.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like whenever that's the thing that I love about Wicked Villains is like all the different people come in and out. So I love the scene with Meg in it. Um and I just love that stuff. I just love that it's all a mix of it. Stella, we're asking what your favorite sexy scene from Desperate Measures was. That's what we're asking. Whoop whoop. Visit like 8 in the morning tomorrow for you. I know it's early in the morning over there. Um, yeah. You knew it was consensual with no warning. Okay. Yeah. Heather, I feel like you read a lot of these too, so I know that I'm always like looking for the hints of it, even if it's not. But
Yeah, I feel like Katie made it kinda clear, like, just with
mm,
the hints that she had put in there, like mentioning the safe word literally in the first, like, little bit. But, like, if you don't know what that is, then you might not have picked up on it.
yeah. Hmm. Patty, is anyone getting a little tired of the rich man hiring a woman stylist to sex up the heroine for an event? I mean, I agree with that in general, except for this one. It was Tank who did it, and so I approve of it. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Tank is the resident stylist in the Wicked Villain world, so she shows up to sex people up quite a bit. But I know what you mean.
Me too.
10:17 a.m. Nice. Haven't read many. I need to read more. Yeah, but you've read some of the craziest ones, Heather. I mean, you read Untouchable. You know what it's about. I almost picked Untouchable, but I feel like a lot of people wouldn't make it through that one.
That one would have been a hard first read if they picked that one first.
I know, I know, I know. And I also wanted to like the thing, and I mean, we can go into Sorted soon. I just know more people read Desperate Measures than they did read Sorted. So I wanted to give Desperate Measures its time. But Sorted is just, to me, I feel like it starts with a dubious consent one before it goes into non consent things because I don't know, like we're in her head. That's what I try to think of too. We're in her head the whole time. Like Sorted does not have multiple POV in it. And so we know the whole time that she's like, I'm trying to get him to stop. We should get it to stop. But for that, specifically for the first sex scene in Sorted, I tried this time when I read it to look at it like, what is Lucas seeing? Like, what is Lucas seeing from the outside when he's doing this?
Yeah.
Not later on, because later on it's very clear what's happening. He makes her a slave. It's a thing. But in that first scene, when it's a dubious consent, because I do interpret that first scene as a dubious consent for me, because he does like push her along, but she never like says no until a certain place, which I highlighted once it happens. And in the like that's the thing again, we're in a fantasy world, so normal rules aren't applying. But even with normal rules applying, it's like I could see that that was a consensual situation up until that point. And so I'm trying to see what Luca was seeing from his point of view because we don't get to see his point of view.
I wish we would have got his point of view.
Yeah. In the sequel, you do get dual POVs, I believe, because that's about his brother. in that one. Vasily, or however you say his name. You didn't finish it, Stella. You forgot it. That's shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So who like did make it through sorted? I know some of y'all did. I know Bex did. She might be falling asleep already.
I raised my hand. I finished it.
You did, like,
20
and
minutes
I-
ago.
yeah. There is like, gosh, I had fun rereading this, but I'm like, it's funny that you said, I know you have like some other stresses in your life, but I think Luca is so hot.
Oh, I loved him.
He just, like, even when he starts with all the twisted shit where he's like, I'm gonna have to train you so that I don't have to kill you. And I'm just like, I just love how this is so practical in your mind that you're like, are you watching porn right now? No, I'm doing research for your training. So he's watching porn so that he can like train her for stuff. And I was like, really? Are you? Is that what's happening? But then again and again and again, there's stuff where she's like, I like that he's making me do this. I'm glad that he's making me do it because I don't have a choice. So I like that he's making me do it. So there's a lot of that stuff coming up too.
My favorite part, and like it made me like literally stop and laugh, was when he puts the belt around her throat, and
Yes.
like her reaction was, "I'm gonna bite his dick so that he."
I know. Oh my god.
Like,
I
why
just
did I even
know.
do it?
Yes. Well, that's the first like thing too, where she's like, I'm gonna see what happens. And then the other time when she like cuts him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, why the fuck did you do that? And she's like, I had to. You didn't, you did this thing, like I had to do it. And so then she does everything he tells her to do because she's like, I did do that. So now I need to pay for it. It's like he's already started like changing her brain because she's like, yep, I know I cut him and I'm going to do whatever he tells me now because I deserve it. I was like, okay, I'm here for this shit. But no, I love when she bites him and he's like, why the fuck did you do that? And she's like, I just wanted to see what it felt like. And he's just smiles and he's like, you couldn't be more perfect for me if I like made you. And I'm like, these two are some twisted fucks and I love it. So
I also love just how normal it was that they went home to her parents' house for Thanksgiving, and like
right.
he was just like, "This is just normal. It's fine. I fucked your daughter in her school bedroom. Like nothing
Well, no,
happened. No big deal." Huh?
That's what happens. Her dad overhears him say, I want to fuck you right here. And then the dad's like, oh, well, you shouldn't be together. And I was like, because they were talking about having sex? This couple that's like, I mean, he doesn't know any of the other stuff.
And he got mad because they were playing house. And I was like,
yeah, she's 21. It's not like it's not like she's 15 and this, I don't know. I mean, her parents definitely should have been worried about her, but not for that kind of, right? Yeah. Yeah. And when she's on speakerphone with her family, and they like say that, oh, you mean that guy that you're obsessed with? And Luca's like, huh? What now?
Did you talk about me?
And she's like, come on, Mom. Why did you do this? Oh, I just loved it. I loved it. So that's the thing about it is like they're so messed up. But I don't know. That one's hard because it is I understand fully anyone who would have problems with Sorted because it's not for anyone at all. But for what the book is doing, when Nikki Sloan takes on a topic like that, she goes 110 with it. Like it makes me uncomfortable, but also I like got it at the same time. Like this is a mafia adjacent book. And I give mafia books, they can do whatever they want just because it's like you're gonna do whatever you want. And so when he explains it to her, he's like, I didn't want you to die for something that I did, so I knew I had to be drastic because, and like when he punishes her in front of his dad, and he's like, I have to break you because if I don't break you, then my dad will take you, and that would be too much. So Stuff sucks when it's the mafia. I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
I mean, I love the mafia dudes too. So, um, chapters we love. Yes, I saw that you were reading both of them. Did you like Torted or Sorted better? I
This
like
is
Sorted
I
better.
would die.
Yeah, I would die too. I would die too. My dad would actually probably have teased the guy and been like, "Really? Like, you saying that here? Like, that's on my." But I also like when he says to her parents, when he's like, "I'm selfish. I like that I get to come to home to her every day, and it's gonna happen." And I was like, "That's really cute." You sicko. It's really cute. Um, Torrid, like, sort of yeah, Torrid is not the same situation. That's more of a, like, um okay, well, this isn't, like it's enemies to lovers because he takes her captive. She's not actually his enemy before they're together. Whereas, like, Torrid is like an undercover spy-ish situation. And so, yeah, Oksana is a badass. She is a badass, yeah. Your father-in-law? Oh, no. He didn't notice? Were you like, "I don't wanna know." No, don't tell me your private sec I didn't mean that, but I was like, "How did he not notice?" Imported. Oh. Yeah, I need to reread Torrid next. So I have Torrid. I got it as a gift, and I need to reread that one too. Stella. Stella.
I am floored.
Wow, that sounds horrible.
Oh my god.
My kid has informed me he heard me the whole time. Stop! Oh my gosh, stop telling me!
No!
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 I mean, I walked in on my parents as a kid. It didn't scar me or anything. Don't leave your doors unlocked, parents, okay? Don't do it. Anytime I read a book with, like where it's, like, kids in a book, which I've said I've changed my mind recently, like, I do like books with kids, but anytime there's kids in a book and you don't lock a door, I'm like, "The kid's coming in the door. It's happening. The kid's coming in the door." So then I'm stressed out for the whole sex scene that I'm reading because I'm like, "The kid's coming in the door. It's happening. It's happening." Like, "Lock the door, Heather!" And, like, when they're gonna do it in the kitchen, doesn't someone walk in the kitchen or the phone rings in the kitchen? I would just be like, "Can we not do it in the kitchen when you have maids and housekeepers and stuff?" Like, I'm okay. Yep. We learned to shut the door and keep the covers up. Yeah. Yep. See, personally, that's why I think people joke about, like, we do it with the under the covers at night, and it's like, yeah, because 'cause you're trying to hide from your kids, not because you're boring, but you only you gotta keep covered apparently. If there's a kid, I'm sure at some point they've at least heard it or what. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
You could be like, I don't know if any of you have read Sierra Simone, the new Camelot series. But they have a sex dungeon in their house and they bring the baby monitor down there whenever they're gonna do this stuff. So they like lock the doors and they like bring the baby monitor down. And I'm like, that's what you'd have to do, I guess. I guess you just need to build this you just need to build a sex dungeon, everyone. Even if you don't do dungeony things, you just need to have one for the soundproofing aspect. And so you can lock the door. Wow, how did this happen? How did this happen? Oh yeah, her dad overheard her. That was a thing. Right, right. You need a red room that is insulated. You know, like what you use for like insulating for podcasts now. Just like have a room that you've like insulated just to make things better, right? Wow, we are weird tonight. I don't know, guys.
Oh
Okay,
man.
so what are some how about we do I know that I've done most of my recommendations in my video. Did you end up making a video yet, or you haven't read a lot of this trope, or
I
what
haven't
are
read
some recs? Let's throw up some recs. I feel like we are
I have
just telling each other's horrified stories now, and thankfully I don't have any to share, so we're good. I just read Truly by Carmel Rhodes. which was a lot like Untouchable,
I can't wait to read that one.
but it was diverse and it was not quite as sociopathic as Carter was. But the thing I liked about Carter is that he isn't that traumatized. Like, he has something in his back where he's like, I'm not traumatized. I'm just like this. And I'm like, you had something happen to you that I would consider some kind of trauma. But this other guy, like, he has some trauma, and that's why he's like that. And I like that they work. Yes, Maya, do it. Do it. It doesn't have to look like a dungeon. They just call it's just called a sex dungeon because there's usually chains and whips in it and stuff. You don't have to have that stuff. You could just have a bed and, condoms and lube there, and then you're good. Doesn't have to be scary. Who is it she asked for it by? What?
Asking for it.
Oh, Asking for it is by Lila Pace. It's a duology with a extended epilogue. So it's Asking for it and Begging for it.
Does King by T.M. Frazier have dubious consent?
I do not know. I've heard that recommended for a bunch of different reasons. I don't know what that one is. Yes, Heather, I remember you wanted me to read Truly before you, and the answer is yes, it is a lot like Untouchable. It is I'll say this, it's the closest to Untouchable as I have found to be like a good comparison.
I really want to read that one. I'm hoping that it's better than Cherry Bomb was.
It totally was. Totally.
Okay.
But see, it's a full-length novel and it's fleshed out. Like Cherry Bomb was a cute little like drop in the bucket. It's just it tried to do too much in the amount of pages that it had. Like I feel like Cherry Bomb would have been a much better story if it was longer.
Yeah, that was my problem with it.
It was just like I thought the characters were fine, the sex was really good, but it was just like for the kind of conflict it was trying to tell, it was just too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty Filthy Rich Men by Laura Lynn Page. Ooh, that sounds good. You read that one. I mean, there's a lot of mafia ones for me. I mean, Twisted Pride is like my other favorite because that one is completely consensual, but she's kind of like, but make it feel like I'm not just giving it to you, which is exactly what consensual not consent is.
Doesn't Sea of Ruin have dubious consent? Or does it have just straight non-consent?
It's dubious consent. That is, I don't know if Crystal, she might not still be here since we're talking about Sorted, but the sex happening is consensual. It's just things go a little bit awry. And so then everyone's like, it's assault. And I'm like, it isn't assault. He just is kind of being a dick with his dick. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil it, but people who've read it, they know what I mean. The sex is consensual, but the specific thing that he does, she's like, why did you do that? But she's not like, you raped me. She's like, why did you do that? And then we learn and grow from it together, and it's great. But I wouldn't point people to Sea of Ruin specifically for the dubious consent, whereas like, Sorted and Untouchable, like that is what the book is about.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Sea of Ruin has a lot of other things going on in it. Random side rant from Jen. Offer from a Gentleman has some dubious consent in it, but not in a fun way.
Which
not that. That's Julia Quinn. That's book 3 in the Bridgertons.
Oh.
Not real happy with it right now. Because it's one thing if I want dubious consent, it's another thing when someone's being an asshole, and then that's not great. Which I think is, part of the discussion is, and like, why we have trigger warnings for stuff? Because it's one thing when like you see a book like this or a book like this, there are certain triggers in this to you. Not, and I don't mean triggers as in the triggers. I mean signs as in what the book looks like, that you know what you're getting into. With that type of book. Whereas when you're reading a lovely historical romance and the hero is pressuring someone to have sex with him, like that's not the same. Like that feels off base for me. Yes, Cora Riley. There's a lot of dubious consent in that.
This is a question for you.
Yes, Patty. This keeps coming up. I didn't go to the fan event today, so I don't know. But from everyone whom I've heard, the first season is the first book, but I don't know that they'll do that continuously because some of the future ones, maybe they will move together. So, but as far as I know, for this first season is the first book. And I don't know past that because, yeah, I don't know past that. Stella, I didn't like An Offer from a Gentleman. It had potential, but didn't work for me. I can't even remember it. Yeah, well, Stella, wait till you see my review. I cussed for like 5 minutes straight, and I'm still really angry. Yes, Patty, I want to know, but for sure, I only know about the first season. We will see about the future. But yeah, let's see some other recommendations. I mean, I have them all in my video. I'm trying to think if there's any that like aren't. What would you, I mean, I would say like Lap of Luxury.
Oh yeah.
That one had it. That one's super hot. But that one
was, I would say, is dubious.
Oh yeah, that one's dubious.
Yeah.
Because she gets like super turned on by him murdering a bunch of people.
Yep.
And then there's the sex yacht. I love the sex yacht. I want a sex yacht.
I want one of those. I want
like you had talked about Come to Daddy for me so much, which I love Come to Daddy. Totally love that book. Totally different than Lap of Luxury. Like
yeah, they're completely different.
Right. And you're supposed to read Come to Daddy first, but like I feel like you don't have to because they are kind of like a overlapping story. So I feel like you could read them in you know who ends up together if you read the one first. But Lap of Luxury has some great like dubious consent and like it has consensual non-consent as well because of the like chase scene or whatever that he sets up. Like that's a great hero. When they set up a chase for you so that you can pretend to be like taken against your will. Like that's a good hero right there.
I just love him here. I love that he's so fucked up.
He is. I need to read them. Yeah, I want to get those ones. I want to buy those ones.
She just put new covers out for those ones, and I'm gonna get them, and they look beautiful.
Yeah, I want them because, yeah, I loved Come to Daddy, right? So I read that. I was like, oh, I'm so excited for the sequel. And then the sequel, I was like, this is what I want. Like, Come to Daddy was great, but Lap of Luxury is exactly what I wanted because,
yeah,
I'm like, I love Daddy. I like Daddy Kink, but I don't usually like that big of an age gap as Brianna Hale, right? Like, she writes some big age gaps.
God, I love them so much.
I know you do, and I'm not dissing them, but I don't like them that big. Like, my line is like 20 years or less is like what I like. I don't like more because it's not realistic to me. And I know none of them have to be realistic, but when I'm like picturing the sex, I'm like, this relationship can't last that long because he's gonna die soon. Like Devram's Court, the dude's like 30 years older than her.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Anyway, and then I read Lap of Luxury and I was like, yep, this one. This is the one. This is the one for me. So good. Oh, I love it.
The problem I had with Lap of Luxury was that I wish that she hadn't set it up so they could be read like out of order. Because I felt like it was really repetitive for me.
Right.
Because I don't know, I just felt like it was really repetitive. It's like, I already know this, Brianna. Can we get to the next part?
Yes. Yeah. And I don't like that in books. Cora Riley does that constantly. So I love her books. But there's this one certain scene that happens in one book and it's repeated in 4 different books because you see it in different people's point of view. And one of those books is a standalone book. So since it can be read as a standalone, they have to re-explain the entire scene. So we can't even just jump in and hear about it. Like, you have to read the entire scene again. And I was just like, I'm so bored of this scene. Like, it was such a powerful scene the first time I read it. But I think part of that just comes of like, I'm a binge reader, and maybe they're assuming people aren't binge readers. So there's that. But like, I didn't forget what happened in this scene. I read it 3 hours ago when I read the book before this one. I'm just ranting now about things, but I love her. I love her books, but I think she's getting stalled out on some of her ideas what to do for her mafia guys because she's telling the same story in the books over and over again.
Have you read Sweet Temptation yet?
No, I didn't read it because I don't care about that couple. And then with the next one, the other one, not Sweet Temptation, but the Fragile Longing, I wanted that one so bad because that is the direct result of Twisted Pride, which is my favorite one that she's written. But it's just what I said. It redoes this thing, and then it's just like boring, and there's like no sex in it. And that's coming from Mary, who, like, Mary is the one who got me to read Cora Riley books, and she hated it. So I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my time.
Yeah, I didn't like Sweet Temptation.
Yeah. No, I like her main story mafia books because I'm invested in the family. You know, that's what's happening when you read Mafia. It's just like it's a soap opera where they're doing each family member. And I'm not a fan of when you like break that and then it's boring and it's like, why? Why did you do this? So, yeah. So, we have a little like announcement to share about what we're planning to do next. As in, we're going to take the month of December off just because there's a lot of stuff happening for me. We have the readathon as well as our like other book club that I'm in, as well as things like that, and Christmas, and just I'm rereading a bunch of books in December, which I'm very excited about. So once we like kind of take the month off, I know Tamika's had a lot going on in life the last little bit too. 2020 was just like this for everybody.
Listen, I hate 2020. I hate 2020 more than anything in this world.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to spoil Supernatural for anyone, don't you worry. But I've been watching that show for 8 years now, or 7 years now, and the ending of it, and I'm not happy about it. Like, I am, and I'm not. So, 2020 also took my favorite show from me. I'm not having a good time.
Oh.
I'm not having a good time right now.
Yeah. So I just need to, but once we like take our break, we'll decide to pick, and then we'll announce it. You know, you guys are already in the group. We'll still like post about maybe the twisted things we're reading, but I'm also been on a complete historical binge lately. Like, besides just the Bridgertons, I've read like 15 historicals this month, and it's been great. And I agree with Stella. It's like I love doing the taboo stuff, and we've picked a mix. Like, we've picked some pretty dark ones, but we've picked just like normal books too. Because taboo doesn't always mean dark. Just like dark books aren't always taboo. But we definitely still have a lot of fun taboos that we want to do, and we may maybe bring in some like guest hosts with us in the future, and just to mix things up. But we're not like, this isn't it's over. It's the end of the year, and we're just like, we don't want to have to plan a book club, another book club in December, and then there's not very many Sundays that are like free right now. So yeah, but read some kinky Christmas smut, guys. Do that. That'll be fun.
I already have one picked out.
Do you? Do you have like a naughty deal with that or something?
It is. The teaser said Santa, something about a ball gag under the tree. I can't remember exactly.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
Like something about a ball gag under the tree, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. So gags are probably my least favorite like kink equipment. Not gonna lie. I just think it's gross.
They are. You drool everywhere.
I know. Like, the butt plugs are fine, whips, chains, chastity belts, do it all. But like gags, I'm like, no. I've read a lot of things now. Like, I just did my reread of For Real, which was like one of my first BDSM and one of my first male romances. And it was so good. and then everything else just feels like a joke compared to it. You know how that is? You read a book that's just so perfect, and then everything else is just. Finding the Bridgerton series has some tough topics. Yes, Stella. So Sir Philip with Love is Sarah McLean's favorite. She was just on the podcast for it. Sir Philip, he's pretty cool. Her Naughty Holiday. Yeah, but no thank you. Apparently the kink everyone out of holiday dinner and just have sex. Oh, that's awesome. I'm reading a Tiffany Reese arc right now with a female dom who makes a sex deal with this like 21-year-old, and it's really hot. I'm reading the arc for it, and I was like, there was this thing done with a string of pearls that was amazing. And I'm reading that scene, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I want to give this book 5 stars just because of the creativity. You know, like 5 stars for creativity. I just love it. I just love it. Yes, very emotional. But yeah, these two I find too, like these ones weren't as like deeply emotional as some that we read. Like, I don't know, like even Sorted, it's just Sorted is so bonkers. You know what I mean? Like I always say bananas and bonkers, but like for real. Desperate Measures is just like a fun ride the whole way through. There's nothing super heavy that we have to deal with. And like Sorted has like a heavy topic. But also okay, wait. There's something we should mention. How about the fact that her parents like die in the last 5% of the book, and then we just like deal with everything. It's fine. So we see her family one time. I forgot that her family died. Like I won't lie, because that's how insignificant the book makes it. Is that we have like had Thanksgiving with her family, and then her family all burns to death.
Yeah, that was a little dramatic. And then
she's like, I forget.
The dad is the one that cracked me up because he like at the beginning of the book he was just like, I only take care of my family, and then he's like, you're my family now, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just because she's like with Luca now, he's like, you are now my family, so if you want to shoot this dude, here you go, here's a gun.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, her Naughty Holiday. She blows up at her family and kicks them all out. Oh, yeah. I'll have to look that. I don't read holiday books. That must just be a novella, right? I could read some Christmas novellas. Maybe I need to do that. Because, like, I feel like I have the visage of, like, the Grinch now because I say I don't like holiday romances. But I just don't. I don't know. I just don't. I don't like Christmas movies that much either. Like, there's very few Christmas movies that I like, and it's usually ones I saw when I was a kid, and then they're my favorite. But it's a Thanksgiving novella. Okay. That's true. There's Thanksgiving comes first. I'm very excited to see, is it Kayla who's doing that? Kayla's doing, I mean, I know like Izzy was doing it too, right? Like for every holiday that comes, she was reading some naughty novellas.
I think Izzy's only doing Christmas and October or Halloween. I don't think she's doing Thanksgiving. Yeah, she just did October. Halloween, just October.
You're a goofball. Okay.
Yeah, well, my mouse just died. I have no idea where my controller's at, so I don't know how we're ending the live tonight.
Really?
Seriously, no joke.
You don't have a touchpad on your computer?
I know. Dallas he's having a fit over it.
Oh my god.
No joke.
Does it use batteries?
Nope.
Does it charge?
What is it?
Does it charge?
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, where's their charger?
I don't know.
I don't know how that works.
My current plan is I'm just going to shut the whole computer off and then go to my laptop and hope I can close the live stream up somehow.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. This is the show that never ends. You might have to log in. Maybe you can log in from your laptop.
That's what I'm hoping on.
Okay. Well, you should try it now while we're here and it's cool instead of awkwardly pulling the plug.
Alright. Well,
Because
here, I'm gonna turn you all towards my door.
yeah, when you pull the plug, it doesn't make me leave because that happened like when yeah, like it doesn't end just because you leave. Like I would still be on here.
You just be like hanging out, like, what's up?
Right, because that happened to me when like I died in the middle of one of mine and the other people just keep talking until I got back on the computer.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going. Hold on.
All right.
Figure
Well,
out.
guys, that is hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty funny. The things that happen around here. An all-night live stream.
An all-night live stream from me.
That's funny. While she's doing that, are there some taboos that you guys want us to do? Maybe give us some ideas for when we come back. I know a couple of you had mentioned step siblings. That was something we talked about a couple months back, but what do I love about Serpent and Dove? Well, I love Hate to Love, and I love arranged marriages, and I love how Reed will examine his beliefs for the woman that he's falling for, because I believe in doing that because I'm a Christian and I still am a Christian, even with everything. But I do like re-examine my beliefs. I'm really willing to look at what I believe and see how it affects other people and make sure, and I'm just always willing to self-examine. And I feel like Reed does that. You got it? You figured it out?
We're good.
I feel like Reed does that in Serpent and Dove. I feel like he is shown some things that contradict what he believes, and he examines them and decides how he's going to change. So, well, there you go, Tamika. You figured it out.
We don't have an all-night live stream now.
Well, that would be fun, but I do need to get some rest. I got to go back to work tomorrow, and I'm not excited about it because I had kind of a long weekend with like my dental surgery, and now I like don't want to work because I'm gonna have 50 million emails in my inbox and I just want to hide from them.
Me too. I don't want to do it tomorrow.
Right. I don't want to look at them, but well, you guys can let us know in the Discord too. But if you want to do a step sibling or if you want to do a man, there's so many taboos. We could just do something basic. We could pick like our favorite BDSM or something, because I feel like BDSM isn't taboo, but yet it is. We could do Menage. I really want to do Menage eventually. Or Reverse Harem is really popular right now. There's a lot of people reading that.
Yeah.
So let us know what you want to do, and we'll, when we plan out 2021, we'll have ideas of what you guys want. But yeah. This was like kind of a chill one. I like that. How about escort sex workers? Ooh, that's nice. BDSM, yep. That's a good one. I love male escorts.
We also have Guardian Ward that's still on deck.
Yes,
talk about
Guardian Ward. That's a good one. Sweet. I want everything, so give it to me. Girl, I've seen what you're reading right now. You're awesome. BDSM, step sibling, or step siblings who do BDSM. I love that.
Everyone wants BDSM.
What?
Everyone's wanting BDSM, so that's going to have to be put on the list.
Right. That one's I feel like BDSM isn't even taboo, but that's just to me, because like BDSM isn't taboo to me anymore because of Fred.
Yeah. I don't think it's taboo, but I also know that a lot of people do think it's taboo, so.
I think it could be fun, like within BDSM to pick it. Like if we picked like male BDSM, or we picked female dominant BDSM, or, to change it up, because just like BDSM, but we could get specific. We could get oddly specific taboo book club of the month. Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, anything else you want to add, or?
No. I'm excited to take a nap.
Yeah, you do look kind of like this was good.
We're having
Well,
a great time. I was excited for us having all on that love long stream, but don't worry, we got a computer, so we don't have to worry about it.
you're so funny. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are all awesome. Thanks for always reading kinky things with us. So much fun. You're so weird tonight. All right, we're doing it. You guys are great. Thanks for coming to our show. We're sorry we are a bunch of weirdos, but you love us anyway.
I'm
So
not sorry. This is who I am.
we'll see you in the book club. Bye. Have a good Thanksgiving if you're America, and a good Christmas since we won't be back. And we'll see you in the new year. And it's gonna be awesome.
Bye, everyone.